Good evening, everybody. This is Professor Mani welcoming you on behalf of the Bombay Management Association. It gives me great pleasure on behalf of our entire BMA Executive Committee, our distinguished past presidents who are here with us this evening, to welcome you to this BMA Digital Leadership Summit. For some of us who were part of this event last year, you will remember we had a grand event in association with the All India Management Association, which was hosted at Taj Santa Cruz. Things have changed in the last 6 to 8 months, and therefore the Digital Leadership Summit this year is being offered on the digital platform. And I must place on record the wonderful efforts put in by our team, Supriya Sachdeva, Chintan Oza, and Jagmohan Rishi in conceiving this entire Digital Leadership Summit, which is being delivered to you starting today for the next 2 days, entirely on the digital platform. I wish to acknowledge the support given by our partners, ITM Group of Institutions, and Shabang in making this event happen this evening and going on for the next 2 days. As all of us are aware, we are going through turbulent times. We also realize that we have accepted digital as a way of life much faster than anyone would have actually visualized. It is in this backdrop that we feel very appropriate that we present to you over the next 3 days experts, leading industry practitioners, CEOs of organizations, consultants who will be sharing their perspectives on how digitalization is changing the entire landscape of business. As all of us have seen, we have tracks related to manufacturing, retail, GovTech, healthcare, marketing, and finance. And me and my colleagues will facilitate this interaction for all of us over the next 3 days to come. As we always do in BMA tradition, we prefer to start on time and close on time so that we don't punish many of you who are so punctual here this evening. Whilst others do join in, I'm going to request my colleague Chintan to play a little video for you on what you can expect over the next 3 days. Over to you, Chintan.
Thank you, Mani sir. I'll just share my screen.
Thank you, Chintan. And I'm sure you got a glimpse of what to expect and the luminaries who are going to be part of our discussions over the next 3 days. As we always do, it's wonderful to start on an auspicious note when we undertake a journey like this, especially a journey which will take us into a lot of learning, a voyage over the next 3 days, which will enlighten us and perhaps give us a lot of action points for implementation when we get back to work after the summit ends over the weekend. I'd like to introduce somebody who is lesser known as an engineer who, after his engineering degree and working for a couple of years, by default or otherwise, became a very, very eminent, inspirational, and motivational speaker. I'm delighted to share that this very, very pious person, whom I'm going to tell you more about, has addressed participants over 30 countries, delivered 1,500 speeches, and has been part of several conventions and seminars in the Jain community with leading organizations like the Government of India, Reliance Industries, the Rotary Clubs, the Lions Clubs. And since 1992 is better known as Sadhu Gyanvatsal ji. Let us welcome Swami Gyanvatsal ji this evening to deliver the inspirational address for us and bless us and set the tone for this entire Digital Leadership Summit. Swamiji is part of the BAPS Swaminarayan Sanstha, which I'm sure many of you know, across 60 countries is trying to engage in 160 plus activities which combine social work and spirituality. On this note, I'd like to very humbly welcome Swami Gyanvatsal ji, and I request him to bless us and bless this event and also share some of his inspirations on how, despite all the situation around us, the setback as we call, how can we come back with greater motivation and greater energy to take our country and our society to greater heights. Welcome Swamiji, Swagat hai, and we request you to please address us. Namaskar.
नमस्कार। श्री स्वामीनारायण भगवान की जय, अक्षर पुरुषोत्तम महाराज की जय, राधा कृष्ण देव की जय, सियावर रामचंद्र भगवान की जय, प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज की जय, महंत स्वामी महाराज की जय, प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज शताब्दी महोत्सव की जय। With many prostrations at the divine feet of Bhagavan Swaminarayan and my Guru Hari, Param Puja Pramukh Swami Maharaj, and Pragat Guru Hari, Param Puja Mahan Swami Maharaj, my heartiest namaskar, good evening, and Jai Swaminarayan, especially to the organizing team of the Bombay Management Association for organizing this wonderful session over the weekend, especially to the President, Professor Mani, and of course, all the viewers and participants tonight. Nice that we have come together in this wonderful session arranged by BMA. And in the inaugural one, I'm asked to talk about how to turn crisis into opportunities. We all know that we are passing through perhaps some of the worst times of our lives that we have seen so far. Today, in these times of pandemic, when we all face some kind of crisis, maybe in personal life, in family life, in social life, in our professional careers, to some extent, we are all tensed. To some extent, we are all stressed. And to some extent, we sometimes find less of hope in ourselves. To some extent, we feel that what will happen to me, my business, my family tomorrow morning. So we are passing through certain crises of our lives, perhaps unprecedented. We didn't see it before. But as the history goes, 2000 years of recorded human history, that mankind has always overcome. He has always tide over the difficulties, the problems, the issues, the crises in his life, because we are the best and the most intelligent creation of God upon this earth. In the same way, we will tide upon this as well. See, there was World War I, and then they had the Spanish flu. They tided over it, and mankind progressed. Then they had the World War II, they tided over it, and mankind progressed. Today also, when we are passing through this pandemic times, we will tide over it. Because at the end of the day, whatever the level of the fight, whatever the intensity of aggression from the opposition, that is from the virus, it is we humans who are going to win. Viruses don't win, humans win. So one day, we'll definitely tide over this situation. But by the time when we are in the midst of it, with what thought process, with what kind of attitudes, with what kind of behavioral patterns, we can tide over this crisis. What kind of all this can come together to find for us certain opportunities in life that we need not just to like discuss in the session, but to imbibe at least some part of it in our lives, so that we become better fit in the ecosystem that is a reality right in front of us today. The first important thought to turn crisis into opportunity is that if you constantly focus on the hurt, you will continue to suffer. But if you decide to focus on the lessons learned from this, you will continue to grow. The choice is yours, whether you want to continuously focus on the hurt or you want to continuously focus on the lessons learned and you want to grow. Make a good choice, make a smart choice. Make a choice that you stand a good chance for a great change in your life. Always wear the glasses of opportunity. We all know that when we were young kids, we used to wear different colored glasses. For example, if you own a green colored glass, you will see everything green. If you wear a red colored glass, you will see everything red. And the children enjoy that, seeing everything one colored. They again wear and bring out those specs. In the same way, we need to wear specs of opportunities. And when you wear the specs of opportunities, everything that you see around you, everything that you hear, everything that you sense or realize in the ecosystem around you, you will sense an opportunity, either to grow, either to prosper, either to better your relationships with people, or either to find peace. You will always find opportunities. Because when I talk to corporates, I tell them with all confidence that as the amount of water droplets in sea, as the amount of oxygen atoms in air, there are equal amount of opportunities in and around you. You need to grab it well. You need to first identify it well. And then you can ride on it. The first important aspect of transforming crisis into opportunity is that introspect and try to make a small positive change in yourself, which can propel you for a better fit in your ecosystem. Where can I make a small change in my life and myself? From my daily routine to my daily habits, to my working style, to my way of associating with people, to the way I work. A small positive change can make a big impact in your life. We had a few months, absolute lockdown. Thereafter a few weeks, during unlock 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we had quite amount of time. At that time, we had all the time for introspection, and still we do have. And as I said, a small positive change in yourself can open many doors of opportunity for yourself. In 1986, our present Guru Hari of the organization, Parapuja Mahant Swami Maharaj and a group of saints, they were touring the world to see museums and meet their curators, because we were coming up with a huge cultural complex in Gandhinagar in Gujarat, known as the Swaminarayan Sanstha, which would depict the ideals, the traditions, the cultures of the Indian society. so as to teach the people a better way of life. So how well can we present ourselves? For that, we needed some good and some of the most modern ideas. So the group of saints were touring and visiting museums and meeting curators. As part of the tour, they visited Stuttgart in Germany, where they have the principal manufacturing plant of one of the world's most luxurious premium cars, that is the Mercedes-Benz. The saints were taken around by the PR guide of the company. And while showing everything, time and again, he would say that we always want to make a change so that we can better protect the driver and the passengers in case of an accident. At one of the divisions, he showed that now we have come up with a technology which we would introduce in the next version, that if at all an accident happens, a balloon would sprout out between the steering and the driver's chest so that it works as a cushion in times of an accident. Now we have it available in many of the cars, but at that time in 1986, it was a very new thing and just introduced in the new version of Mercedes-Benz. So all were impressed. One of our saints asked him a very simple question, that who actually creates the accident, the car or the driver? Now this was a very important and a touchy question, that who creates the accident, the car or the driver? And the PR guide says, Swamiji, of course, it is the driver who creates the accident, not the car. The second question posed by the saint was, then where do we need to make more changes, better changes, in the car or the driver? He said, Swamiji, of course, the driver, but we need to make in the car as well. Our saint said, definitely. We must improve the technology to the best that we can. It is a human endeavor, so that the technology helps us better our surroundings, our work, our association, everything, and helps us in many ways. Because you see, today, because of technology, we are all sitting at our own places, our own respective places, and we are all connected. And we are having a wonderful session, a care and share and exchange. So definitely we need to improve the technology day by day, but at the same time, we must also think to improve the humankind, because after all, those technologies are to be used by humankind. And if the best of the technology in the worst hands can create a disaster. Our Guru Pramukh Singh Maharaj was asked once in New York that whether this technology upgradation is a blessing or a curse. At that time, Pramukh Singh Maharaj said that if we know to use it by a sense of discrimination, it is a blessing. And if we lose the sense of discrimination in using the technology, it is a curse. So my first point in telling you that when you want to turn your opportunity into crisis, you must always try with a sense of introspection and giving a deep thought to it to make a small positive change in your own self. As I said, whether from your daily routine to your habit, to your thinking process, to your attitude, to your expression, to your getting association with people, to the way you work, everything. Even a small positive change can create a big result. That is what history has taught us. A small angle can give you a beautiful picture. Do you agree with me that a small angle changed by the photographer can change the beauty of the photograph? Yes or no? Yes, even a small addition of some spice in the food by an expert chef can change the taste and the mood of the dinner. Yes. In the same way, a small change in your habit, a small change in your attitude can make you a better fit in your ecosystem, back at home and at your workplace. That is the first aspect. Second aspect of turning crisis into opportunity is that you become a prosperity thinker, don't become a poverty thinker. When you become a prosperity thinker, you always think, yes, tomorrow morning belongs to me. Yes, tomorrow morning the sun will rise with rays of hope for me. Yes, tomorrow morning, when I get up from my bed and open the window of my bedroom and the first rays of sun coming in would bring a lot of opportunities for me. Be optimistic. When you have academics with you, when you have a career experience with you, when you have a know-hows with you, when you have connectivity with you, definitely, if not today, tomorrow, you are going to bank upon an opportunity. So be optimistic, be a prosperity thinker. होगा कुछ अच्छा होगा, जरूर कुछ अच्छा होगा, अच्छा होने ही बैठा है, अच्छा होने वाला है. इस प्रकार की सोच आपको स्पिरिट्स में रखती है. What does a poverty thinker think? Oh my God, I'm bogged down. I won't be able to get up and walk. Oh my God, I don't have an opportunity with me. Oh my God, what will happen to me tomorrow morning? These are the thoughts of a poverty thinker. So when you become a poverty thinker, you go nowhere. So don't become a poverty thinker, become a prosperity thinker. Always think prosperity, always think positive. Yes, होगा कुछ अच्छा. और होता आया. आज तक होता आया है, तो आगे भी होगा. Isn't it? So the second aspect is don't become a prosperity thinker, become a poverty thinker. Don't become a poverty thinker, become a prosperity thinker. Always think prosperity, always think positivity. That should be the attitude in your life. Third thing, keep a habit of hanging on. Don't fall back. Don't accept defeat. The organization that I come from is one of the largest organizations in the world, the BAPS Swaminarayan Sanstha, with a permanent seat in the United Nations as an NGO. You might have visited the Swaminarayan Akshardham at Gandhinagar or Swaminarayan Akshardham, the 110-acre campus on the banks of Yamuna in Delhi. I come from that organization. As you've seen Akshardham, we have that small and big, that type of campuses, more than 1,400 all over the world. We are spread in 60 countries of the world with more than 1,400 hospitals, hostels, schools, colleges, sanskar kendras, sanskar dham, mandirs, and akshardhams. And today we are coming up with huge akshardham-like projects at Robbinsville in America, at Johannesburg in South Africa, at Sydney in Australia. And you might be pleased to know that the Sheikh of Abu Dhabi, His Royal Highness, Sheikh Zayed, he gifted us, the BAPS Swaminarayan Sanstha, 27 acres of land on Dubai Abu Dhabi Expressway, that is popularly known as the Sheikh Zayed Expressway, to come up with an Akshardham-like campus so that the proud Indian values of family life, culture, tradition, of the way of life can be well exhibited to the people. And we are about 1,100 saints in the organization. More than 750 of them are graduates, postgraduates, chartered accountants, doctors, and engineers. Many of our saints, they have been graduated out from institutes like Stanford, Harvard, Carnegie Mellon, Yale, and other such institutes. Many of our saints, more than 150 of them are born American and British citizens. And we also work 8 to 10 hours a day, actively being involved in 162 different kinds of social, cultural, educational, medical, environmental activities for which we have been recognized nationally, internationally, and a number of times. So I know what is management, I know what is administration. It's not that reading a couple of books. I've come in front of you just to talk about something at the Baroda Management Association today. I've been as a saint for more than 28 years in the organization and actively involved in all these activities since 3 decades. So sharing with you that how to turn crisis into opportunity. So my point in telling you this is that all this was developed by our Guru Hari Param Pujya Pramukh Swami Maharaj, whose centenary celebrations we are celebrating. He was a one-man organization. Today, on this platform of Bombay Management Association, let me tell you, Pramukh Swami Maharaj is a source of inspiration for all of us. Whether you take personal life, whether you take family life, whether you take professional life, whether you take social life, whether you take public life, he's a source of inspiration. In his guruship from 1971 to 2016, we BAPS, under his leadership, that all credit goes to Pramukh Swami Maharaj, that in 45 years, he erected, constructed, and put into the service of society 1,400 institutes. That is 1,400 hospitals, hostels, schools, colleges, sanskar dhams, sanskar kendras, and mandirs. at an unbelievable average of coming up with a social service institute every 15th day for 45 years. Give me one example of a corporate in the world who would come up with an office every 15th day at a new geographical location, or a manufacturing unit every 15th day at a new geographical location for 45 years non-stop. That was Pramukh Swami Maharaj. Never say die spirit, never accept defeat, never to fall back, always a prosperity thinker. And he was the one that who constantly charged and inspired people around him. And that is why this huge organization, and I tell you more, you professionals, where you work, your system of working is pay and smile, isn't it? Your employer pays you, so there is a smile on your face. And you pay to your employer in terms of work, so there is a smile on his face. So this is called the employer-employee relationship as the pay and smile relationship. The moment the employer won't like your work, there will not be any smile on your face and he'll kick you out. And the moment you don't like your employer's salary, there will not be any smile on your face and you will just walk out of the institute, isn't it? So it's all a professional relationship, pay and smile. Where we work in NGOs, where we work full-time in NGOs, it is serve and smile relationship. That you serve and smile. We are not paid. We don't have money. We don't touch money. We don't have bank accounts. It's serve and smile. Today, and I'm talking to BMA, I'm not charged a single penny. It's just my social service, just my selfless service, with the commands of my Guru Pramukh Swami Maharaj and Mahant Swami Maharaj to spread better thoughts and better attitudes and behavioral patterns to people. What I meant to say that Pramukh Swami Maharaj created such a huge organization because he always believed that things can happen. Whatever reverses, whatever setbacks, whatever failures, still it is a human duty. It is a human endeavor. And more than that, it is a human dignity to get up and walk. See, slipping and falling. While walking, if you slip and fall, it is not a crime. But if you deny to get up and walk again, it is a crime. Do you agree with me? Yes or no? If yes, just raise your hands. Thank you. Falling is not a crime, but denying to get up and walk again with the same enthusiasm in life is a crime. You must never deny that. I'll tell you a wonderful example of a well-known Sri Lankan cricketer, Marwan Atapattu. Now, this guy, he showed up very well in the domestic circuit, so he was picked up by the national team. The selectors called him and said that now you're joining the playing 11. And then you are supposed to be touring with the Sri Lankan playing 11 in the upcoming tour. And what with that allusive call, of course, which any budding cricketer would always expect and dream of, he was elated. He joined the team. His first test, that is his first international appearance. First innings, 0. Second innings, 0. He was a bit depressed. And the Sri Lankan board, they took a decision that he should not be played. He should be benched. So he was benched. He was asked to come back to the country because if you are benched, you are not supposed to be with the team. So his family, they definitely stood beside him. His friends, they stood beside him and always gave him an inspiration. Now, he went back to the domestic circuit for 21 months. He showed up well. Again, he got that call. Again, he joined the national team. Again, the international appearance, first innings, 0. Second innings, 0. Now he was sent back to the country, and then he was told that perhaps he might not get a third chance. Even his family kept on insisting that it's better you join the family business. He said, no, I'm determined. I will play for my country. It's my dream. I will not fall back. I will not accept failure. I am not the one who would be bogged down by defeat. Again, went back to the domestic grid. Again, after 19 months, he got that elusive goal. Again, first innings 0, second innings 1. Now, this would be a disaster for any cricketer. And even the Sri Lankan press, they started writing for him that he's not a big match material. He cannot perform on the big stage. He's not an international cricketer, and he's not able to sustain the pressures of international pace bowling. And he no more deserves a place in the playing 11 for Sri Lanka. So severe criticism in the press for him. Again, his family said, see, you are a qualified chartered accountant. He was a qualified chartered accountant. You know, it's sometimes difficult to qualify for such a professional degree. Being a chartered accountant is difficult. Any such professional degree. Because I know a couple of friends who are on the screen at the moment, they tried their best for the CA. Difficult for them to become a chartered accountant. But then it's not an easy thing. Even your good try, the best try, is a wonderful show from you. What I mean to say is that he was said, come on, start your career as a chartered accountant, forget cricket. He said, no, I want to play cricket. Again, after 17 months, he got a call from the Sri Lankan team. This time he scored a wonderful half century and cemented his place in the playing 11. At the top of the middle order, he batted at number 4 and number 5. And he went on to play for many years for Sri Lanka. He scored 16 centuries, 6 double centuries, and more than 5,000 runs in Test cricket for Sri Lanka. Today, he's a source of inspiration. Today, he's an icon for the youth. That means he was a person who would never accept defeat, never get bogged down by setbacks or failures in life. This is one of the most important qualities that we all need to develop. From a small existence like a spider, you all see the spider, isn't it? When it crawls and walks up on the wall, and when it falls, the very second moment it starts going up, isn't it? Yes or no? It starts going up again. What I mean to say is that never say die, spirit. Again, a good aspect of turning crisis into opportunity is that in times of crisis, keep your minds open, keep your ears open, keep your eyes open, because you know, nature has a game to play with you. God plays a wonderful game with you. When he puts crisis in your life, he always keeps windows there. But sometimes they are clouded. Sometimes they are covered with smoke. It's that when you keep your eyes, mind, and ears open, that you're able to pick up the window and get out of the crisis. So it's very much needed that you always keep your eyes, ears, and minds open. And when you keep it open, you'll find a wonderful way, not just to escape the crisis. Sometimes you always also find a way to prosperity. You know, there are hundreds of examples where people have had a run to prosperity during the times of crisis. They have found the best businesses of their lives in times of crisis. They have become millionaires and billionaires facing crisis. This is a reality. I share a wonderful example with you. Once on a snowy night in Paris, this incident happened. That in the evening, just a friend called up his friend. The friend had come from California to Paris for 3-5 days to work, and it was over the weekend that a friend called him and said, let's go out for a dinner. And the two friends had come together after 6-8 months. So they came together at the hotel and they sat for dinner, a long chat. After the long chat, when they came out in the reception area, to their surprise, they found a very long queue in the porch of the hotel. And they asked the receptionist, ma'am, what is this queue for? And she said, see, there is heavy snowfall in the entire city of Paris at the moment. All the traffic is jammed. In some streets, it is moving quite slowly. And we are the food street. So like, those people who had come by their own cars, they already left. And those people who had come by cabs, they are here in the queue because cabs are moving very slowly in the city at the moment. And we being a food street and right geographically in the middle of the street, the cabs coming from both the sides get engaged and hired the first or the second restaurant or the hotel. And so very few cabs, they reach our place. And so there's a long queue. And this both friends said, oh my God. And the receptionist asked them that, sir, have you come by a cab? And he said, yes. Then the receptionist said, sir, then please join the queue. So fine, they joined the queue, and the way they saw the movement of the queue, they found that it would take at least 2.5 to 3 hours for them to get a cab. And they said, my God, we are stranded. Now, what can we do? So what would we do if we were stuck at such place? Just we would open up the mobile and open the data and start the WhatsApp, start answering people, or maybe answer a few mails. And if nothing of that can, we'll just click a couple of photos with a queue, selfie, and then upload it somewhere. At least send on our broadcast friends group. Let's see, oh my God, stranded and this and that. And maybe we open up some news media and started reading some news. Okay, I don't say you are doing something wrong. It's okay, it's fine. You're passing your time. But these two young friends, they said that this type of situation might be popping up quite often during winter times in countries where snow falls. So can we come up with some solution for this? Can we help the situation? So this is what I described as keeping your minds open, keeping your eyes open, keeping your ears open. And they discussed over it, and they came to a conclusion that we must design a mobile app where a person can order a cab, maybe a few minutes before actually he wants it. And when he orders the cab, he gets a written message, the name of the driver, the mobile number of the driver, the number of the cab, and fine, he can feel comfortable that I've already hired a cab and I'll get it after 20 minutes. So he can be quite comfortable with himself. So by the time it was their turn for the cab, they boarded the cab and they went back to their apartment. A couple of days back, the friend who had come from US left back. He was then in California. Online, they discussed a lot, designed the app, and he introduced that app in a couple of cabs in California. Los Angeles was successful. Thereafter 10, 50 cabs was successful. Thereafter 100, 200 cabs was successful. Today, you would be surprised and happy to know that this mobile app, it provides 3 million rides in 66 countries of the world. I'm talking of none other than Uber. And the creator and the person stranded on that snowy night in Paris in a hotel, Travis Kalanick, the owner of Uber, and his lesser known silent friend and silent partner with him, Mr. Garrett. This is the story of Uber. Prosperity in crisis, not just opportunity in crisis. Finding out a wonderful opportunity, of course, for themselves in the future and trying to help the situation. I take you one step further from what I said at the start of my talk, that the virus will never win. Definitely, it is giving a very tough fight to us at the moment. And we hope and pray that we don't become a victim of the second wave. Today in Europe and the United States, you see a second wave, but let's hope and pray that the lesser of the second wave or no of the second wave. But at the moment, the virus is giving a tough fight to humans. But at the end of the day, it is humans who are going to win. In the same way, in a situation and a circumstance, it may give a tough fight to you, but at the end of the day, it is humans, because we are the best creation of the God. We are going to win. This is the story of Uber. Today, Travis Kalanick was stranded on that snowy night in Paris and got the idea of a mobile app to hire a cab. He's a multi-billionaire. What I mean to say, if you want to turn crisis into opportunity, keep your minds open, keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, and don't get bogged down by the situation. Don't close up your mind in times of crisis. अरे यार, जो होना है वो होगा, क्यों चिंता करूं, बस मैं तो आंख बंद करके सो जाता हूं. Not that attitude. How can I pierce it out the situation? That is how you work upon the situation. So ये सब बातें हैं, how you turn your crisis to opportunities. And the last thing that I want to share with you before I end my talk, turn crisis into opportunity, is that associate yourself with your higher existence. That is, connect with your creator, the God, through prayers or chanting the holy name every day. It is not that just I'm a saint that I'm talking of this. Science today says equal importance of this. Our Guru Param Pujya Pramukh Swami Maharaj, who created this organization to this level, he has also passed through the ups and downs in life. He has also seen many setbacks in his life. And in these times, we've always seen, whether it was the construction of the BAPS Swaminarayan Temple, which is world famous and described by Reader's Digest as the 8th wonder of the world, that is the BAPS Swaminarayan Mandir in London, or the Akshardham like campus of the BAPS Mandir at Chino Hills in Los Angeles, or during the terrorist attack on Swaminarayan Akshardham at Gandhinagar in the September of 2002. In all these times, the first thing that Pramukh Swami Maharaj did, where a crisis launched itself upon him, was that he connected with his creator, the God, immediately, prayed, chanted the holy name, so that to cool yourself, to calm yourself, so that you can take a better decision. Because if the hormone level goes up, then you'll be stressed out. It is scientifically proved, what I'm talking now, that in the times of crisis, when you see danger, when you are afraid of something, it has the after effect of pushing you into depression and stress. Science says, see, I'm talking absolutely scientific, okay? Science says that when you are tensed, when you're in a state of anger, when you experience fear, your body releases two hormones in your bloodstream. One is cortisol and second is epinephrine. When they get released in your bloodstream, your blood pressure increases, your heartbeat increases, you start perspiration. At that time, when you start chanting the holy name of God, in whichever form of God that you believe in, Bhagwan Ram, Bhagwan Krishna, Bhagwan Swaminarayan, whatever, and you start chanting it at high speed, like Swaminarayan, 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 high speed. Scientists say that at that time, your body releases a hormone called endorphin in your bloodstream. This hormone called endorphin has the power to suppress the effects of cortisol and epinephrine and show its own power, its effect. And the effect of endorphin is coolness, calmness, stability. And thereafter, you become capable of taking better decisions to come out of the situation. So, what I mean to say is, when in times of crisis, even Stephen Covey, one of the most celebrated and decorated management gurus upon this earth, is famous book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. In this, he writes that I've met 3,000 successful people in my life. Successful not just as businessmen, but successful in all walks of life. Successful as a businessman, as a husband, as a wife, as a brother, as a sister, as a neighbor, as a relative, as a friend. Successful in all walks of life. He says that I found this 7 habits common in this 3,000 people. I'm not describing it because I'm concluding my lecture in 2 minutes from now. But I just listed out for you. The 7 habits that he found common was, first, be proactive. मतलब प्रतिकूल परिस्थिति में सानुकूल प्रतिभाव. This is turning crisis into opportunity. Second is begin with the end in mind. Third is putting first things first. Fourth is think win-win. Fifth is seek first to understand and then to be understood. Sixth is synergy. And seventh is sharpen the saw. In the seventh habit, sharpening the saw, that is bettering yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally, making yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally more strong. He says that this 3,000 people had the common habit of connecting with their creator, the God, through prayers or chanting the holy name every day. Once in the morning for a few minutes and again in the evening before they retire for the day for a few minutes. Morning connection is for inspiration. Evening connection is for distressing yourself. So these are a few tips where you can engage yourself with to turn crisis into opportunities. Thank you very much for patiently hearing me. All my prayers for all of you, for all the attendants and all your members, that may Bhagwan Swaminarayan, my Guru Hari Pramukh Swami Maharaj, and my Pragat Guru Hari Mahan Swami Maharaj bless you all to inspire you with the best of thoughts and attitudes so that you can turn crisis into opportunities, not just opportunities, into prosperities for you, for the people around you, for the society, for the nation, and for the humanity at large. Thank you very much. With many prayers for all of you.
Thank you very much, Swamiji. That was indeed very, very inspirational. I would particularly like to reiterate that the manner in which you presented how we can expect a strong comeback despite the setback that we are going through was truly inspirational. I also got a very strong feeling while listening to you that while we are talking about enhancing digital quotient across the 3 days of this Digital Leadership Summit, you made a very important point that you might focus on digital quotient, but don't forget spiritual quotient. Really appreciate the wonderful sharing and truly inspirational address from your side. With your permission, we have a few questions which have come from the audience. If you permit, I will read them and I would request your kind response.
Definitely.
The first, thank you, sir. The first question which is here is, to become a successful leader, does one need to be an extrovert?
Yes, it is the necessity of the times. To become a person, that is to create a leader out of yourself, you need to become both an extrovert and an introvert. By introvert, I mean that you need to constantly introspect yourself to enrich yourself with values. By being extrovert, you need to enrich yourselves by more connections and social fabric in the society. Thank you. So both are needed.
So focus
You need
on
to be
intrinsic values and at the same time. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
definitely.
That's
To
wonderful.
be a leader, you need both.
Another good question. We're all aware of small and medium enterprises are going through a lot of turmoil more than the larger organizations.
Sorry again, I could not get you properly.
Okay, sure. In the current scenario, the most affected are the small and medium enterprises as compared to the larger organizations. Would you share some guidance specifically for them how to overcome this situation?
Well, not very specific guidance for those, but the points that I covered in my talk today. Don't fall back. Don't accept defeat. Don't get bogged down by the situations. And always tell yourself that I can do it. Try to seek around, keeping your eyes, minds open for an opportunity. Even try to get help from known people, maybe a financial help, maybe a support, maybe some man force help, maybe some knowledge help from your relationships in and around you. So it is always that you will have to run on your own legs to come out of the situation. Of course, the government of India has put out wonderful stimulus package and that has helped not many people. At least I know 3-4 people in the city of Vadodara in the MSMEs I think you were talking of the MSMEs, isn't it?
That's right.
So in the MSMEs, 3, 4 people I know that they got wonderful help from the bank in this government help, because it is a stimulus package for the MSMEs by the government in this pandemic times, and they've started coming up and they've come back quite to normal. And things are coming back quite to normal. You might know that just 2 days back, you might have got the news that the GST collection of the central government for the month of October had surpassed 1 lakh crores. That was equivalent to the month of February. That is before the pre-COVID month. The pre-COVID month. That means if the tax, the GST for the month of October has come back to the pre-COVID levels, that means businesses have started picking up. So definitely that is a positive sign. Yesterday, you might have read in the newspapers that there is a huge demand for home loans in the month of October. That was unprecedented. Year on year, October 2018 or October 2019, they had more demand for home loans in 2020. So all this tells us of the scenario that slowly the things are picking up and they will come quite back to normal. So why I tell you this is that don't get depressed that you are in an MSME and you are a bit bogged down, you are a bit more beaten up by the situation. Keep your willpower strong, keep your level of confidence as well, try to seek help and opportunities around you, and definitely you will come out. God is kind enough. Thank you.
You just mentioned about positivity. In today's rat race, we are often surrounded by people who are full of negative energy to pull others down. How do we cope up with such situations?
Well, first of all, even if you win the rat race, you are still a rat. I'm just joking. What I mean to say is this, it's not that you don't race. You will have to join the race, okay? You will have to run the race because it's a human endeavor. So you will have to run the professional commercial race and run it well, run your own race well. But when you are surrounded by people full of negativity, or when you are surrounded by people who constantly try to bog you down, at that time, you constantly need inspiration. You constantly need motivation. You constantly need strength to be yourself. I use the word to be yourself. In these times, I teach you certain practical tips. First of all, without you reading 5 to 7 good inspirational pages of a wonderful book, don't retire for the day. Start your morning with exercise and chanting the holy name for a few minutes. That is a source of inspiration. So, as Stephen Covey said in the 7th habit, sharpen the saw. Keep yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally in good spirits. Of course, that is in your hands. But when you get associated with people and that negative atmosphere, again, that negativity starts creeping in you. So you constantly need positivity, and that comes by good reading, good connection with God, and your own strength to hold yourself in times of such negativities by positive thoughts. Of a wonderful example that I would like to share you just in 3 sentences, that a noted management guru, Zig Ziglar, he was once asked that, do you need motivation every day? In a seminar at the end of the talk, in the questionnaire, and he said, he posed a question to that person. He said, do you need soap and water every day to clean your body? He said, yes, you need soap and water every day. Zig Ziglar said, if you clean your body with soap and water today, why do you need it tomorrow? He said, during the whole day, there's just dust and perspiration and this and that. So in the same way as you need soap and water every day to clean your body, you need words of inspiration every day to keep yourself spirited. So keep a habit of reading, keep a habit of connecting with God, keep a habit of energizing yourself physically as well to keep your spirits up. Thank you.
So it is rightly said that when one door closes, another one would open. How do we develop the maturity to visualize where the second door is?
Wonderfully asked, and the use of words wonderfully placed. Mani, you made it well. Uh, well, the saying is right. It's not just written from a poet's pen. It has come down through generations from our elders that when God closes one door for you, He definitely opens up the second one for you. Now the question is, how do you develop the maturity to visualize that a second door is open? For that, I said one sentence more than 5 times in my talk. Keep your minds open, keep your ears open, keep your eyes open, and keep looking around for opportunities and prosperities. You will definitely see a window open. Or the other way, you will definitely see the open window. Because God is kind, He has already opened it before He has closed this. And keep faith that when He has closed one window, He has closed it for a reason, not to harass you. See, a little boy, maybe 1.5-year-old child, if he or she picks up a knife to play with, considering that knife as a toy, because for a 1-year-old child, even a knife is like a toy, and he or she starts playing with it. If you see it, what would the first thing you would do?
Get
Tell
worried
me
that
what
he would hurt himself.
you get worried, but then what action would you take?
Snatch it away.
In a way that he doesn't get hurt, isn't it? You
Yes.
first catch the child's hand properly from his wrist, from his palm, and then open his fingers up, even if it is tightened it, and just take away the knife from it. Now the little boy starts crying because he feels that my dad took away my best toy from me. And even when he demands that toy, would you give that toy back? Yes or no? Would you give that toy back to that is the knife to the son back? Yes or no?
No.
Because the boy takes it as a toy, you know that it can injure him very badly. But if he still keeps on, at the same moment, you make alternate arrangements. You give him a real toy to play, isn't it? A better toy to play where he can enjoy. So as a father, if you took away one toy from your son's hand, snatching it away, you immediately give another toy in his hand and he starts playing, he stops crying and he starts enjoying his time, isn't it? Same is with the God. He closes one window because he knows that there is a storm coming from this window and it will uproot you. And you say, no, 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 please keep this window open. As the little boy says, no, 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 give me back that toy. You said, this is not a toy, it is a knife, it's going to kill you. In the same way, God says, I want to close this window for you. There is a storm outside, it is going to uproot you. I'll open another window for you in another direction. Just wait a moment. As an elder treats a boy when he's playing with a knife, considering it as a toy, the same way God takes care of us all, closing a window which we felt was an opportunity, but it was a storm which would uproot us, and He will open an opportunity. That faith will open a window for you. So I told you 2 things in answer to this. First is keep your eyes, mind, and ears open. And second is keep faith that before He closes, He opens. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And I'm sure we can continue to listen to all the inspirational words of wisdom coming from you. But as they often say, it's good to take a pause, reflect, think about it, and move ahead. On that note, on behalf of the Bombay Management Association and so many of us who are present here, almost 70 participants, our past presidents and the executive committee members of the Bombay Management Association, I'm humbled to propose a sincere vote of thanks to you, Swamiji, for not only sparing the time and being with us here today, inspiring us and making us feel that after this setback, the comeback that we will focus on will be the will of God. And here's where we've learned a lot of lessons on spiritual quotient. Namaskar And thank you very much, Swamiji. We look forward to your continued inspiration. And those of us who perhaps have not heard of BAPS, please refer baps.org, which is the website, and you'll get all information, and you can connect further to Swamiji on several videos that you will find on YouTube, where he continues to inspire millions and millions of people. Pranam Swamiji again, and thank you so much for being with her this evening. Thank you.
Pranam Mani, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be on the platform of BMA. And again, my all prayers for all you participants for a wonderful life ahead. You and your family both.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Namaskar.
Thank you. Thank you.
With that, we conclude the inaugural session. And for me, I thought the greatest takeaway was how much ever we focus on digital quotient, let's remember to equally focus on spiritual quotient, and success will come our way. I'm extremely delighted to welcome in our midst our speakers for the first track, which is the manufacturing track. I welcome Mr. Anil Patel from Ford Motors. I welcome Mr. Pradeep David from Universal Robots. Each one of them is a leader in his own merit. This entire discussion will be facilitated by another leader in the manufacturing space, Sri Indrapal Singh from Godrej Group, who has also been a past president of the Bombay Management Association. In a bid to migrate to this first session on the manufacturing track, I'm going to invite my colleague Chintan Oza to please take over the proceedings and lead the discussions for the manufacturing track with the three distinguished panelists whom we have here this evening. Welcome once again to Anil Patel, Pradeep David, and I hand over to Chintan Oza.
Thank you so much, Mani sir. I hope I'm audible.